My name is Brenda Heldoorn. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the center, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here joining us today. No matter where you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here, for we know that all paths end in oneness and in love. So today we have a very special event. Our very own Colleen Akiko is bringing a program to us today that I'm very, very excited to share with you. And I will invite Colleen to introduce herself and her program and beautiful music. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me okay? Ah, woo! Everybody sing that note. I think we are going to actually start with our I Am Here by Divine Appointment slide. Oh, and I brought with me our little, like this could mean your angel is on your shoulder, or let's play the next slide. Here we go. Shall we say this together? I am here by divine appointment, and something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. That'd be a great thing to say every time I get out of bed. I'd like to ask Brenda to come back up, and as you might notice, today's a little different. It's kind of an experiment, and if it doesn't work well, it won't happen again. We have actually rearranged the sanctuary a little bit, and we're in an oyster-shaped circle, and we might be doing things in a little different order. So what we've wanted to do is include our Zoom people in the circle because you're so precious to us. And so we have our Zoom people on the west side of the oyster circle, and next to Brenda, who is going to share with us a special reading and affirmative prayer.
Thanks, Colleen. So the special reading today is from Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. Power is never separated from itself, and the mind which conceived the cosmos, giving birth to its infinite forms, is identified with the plot in the latest play. The same mind, because all mind is one. Within all people and within everything that lives, there is an impulsion towards self-expression. This impulse is dynamic and irresistible. The very fact that there is an insistent urge for self-expression in all individuals proves that this urge is cosmic. The desire for self-expression is not only legitimate, it is irresistible. Each individual must interpret the universe for himself. God can give us only what we take, and the taking is the self-expression of God in us, not something other or different from God, but itself is God. The urge which causes us to say, I am, is more than an urge causing us to express a power which extends itself through us, or an intelligence which uses us as an instrument for its activity. I am is God. This perception of unity has been basic to the spiritual genius of the ages, and is but another way of saying that God is all there is. To realize that this indivisible wholeness is at the center of our own being is to understand that the power of our individual word is an activity of the infinite and eternal. I am the everlasting and perfect Spirit. The Spirit in us is us. No greater unity could be delivered than that which by the very nature of being cannot be withheld. This deliverance is not partial, but complete. Bringing to mind this truth, that there is only one inexpressible, indivisible, perfect unity. The wholeness behind all creation. I take this idea in, and understanding blossoms. In the moment I realize, if there is only one, then I am one with the one. And further understanding reveals that the nature of this one is love, peace, joy, beauty, abundance, vital, vibrant energy, everlasting. I am one with this one. And so taking this knowing into my heart, I now look upon the world, all life, all beings, and I recognize our divine kinship. Each one of us imbued with a divine inheritance of wholeness, of unity, of love everlasting. And as this knowing takes root and grows in my spirit, in my mind, it informs everything I think and say and do. As this is true for me, this is true for each one of us. As the morning dawns and understanding deepens, and we hear the call home to one, the call home to wholeness. Everyone here present in this sanctuary and within the sound of my voice, whether in this moment or at a future time, is called home to wholeness. So this time we spend together today, we spend in kinship, discovering and deepening our understanding of the nature of God and the nature of life. And I celebrate this. I'm so grateful for this teaching and for this understanding, for this space and for this time in which it unfolds. And so I release my word into the law of love and the law of mind. And it returns fulfilled And so I simply allow it to be. And together we say, and so it is.
So beautiful. Thank you. Mm. I love those words about coming home to wholeness. This is a song called Invocation. I invite you to sing along. And it's just kind of like, have you ever been to a party and you're like, yeah, okay, I'll go to the party. And maybe you're sitting in someone's living room and there's somebody that you haven't seen for a while maybe. And you go, oh, it's you. You're here. So that's kind of like this song. Love, you're here, strong and clear, breathing me with life, rising, shining. I am love, yes I am. Here we go, peace. Peace, you're here, strong and clear, breathing me with life, rising, shining. I am peace, yes I am. Light, you're here, strong and clear, breathing me with life, rising, shining. I am light, yes I am. Truth, you're here, strong and clear, breathing me with life, rising, shining. I am truth, yes I am. Joy, you're here, strong and clear, breathing me with life, rising, shining. I am joy, yes I am. Yes we are, yes we are, yes we are, yes we are. Nice, nice. All right, here we go. The slide is ready. So, We did not realize that we have kinship with the humble oyster, but we do. So we're going to be exploring that together. And being as we are kind of in a circular oyster shape, if you have one of those epiphany moments where, oh, it's just like this, then feel free to say, and yeah, we would love to hear that. Because honestly, what I've done for this morning is I said, okay, how can I discover more of the I am in the oyster? And I just did a lot of research and I did a lot of copy pasting. And then last night I organized all my pastes. And so we're going to just kind of explore together what we can learn from the oyster. How do they tell us their story? How do they self-express, as Brenda read to us? Because we know that as we take in that self-expression from the oyster, that's God. So anything can happen. The hidden in what is revealed. We get to find that out. And so, there we go. Oysters. Who likes oysters, by the way? Okay. Who hates to eat oysters? We don't hate the oysters, but we... Okay. All right. I'm wondering, and is it possible to have the people on Zoom on part of the screen and the screen share on the others? Yeah, something like that? Okay. Like half and half, as my grandpa used to say. Can we do that or no? As I'm curious, our Zoom family, if you might have a word, and we'll think the first word that comes to mind when someone says oysters. If you guys wanted to put it on the chat, what might be really fun, if you could make an oyster waterfall. I've only seen this happen once, but you all write the word that you like or that comes to mind for oysters. Just kind of write it on the chat, but don't press return yet. And when I say, I'll give you the bell. When I ring the bell, press return, and let's see if there's an oyster word waterfall. Shall we try that? You don't have to unmute. You can just press return on the chat. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Feminine. Okay. And do we have any way to get the other chat things up? Oxyan. Ooh. That's impressive. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Do we have any other words? Okay. Well, we'll have to catch up with you. There we go. Half shell. Okay. Pearl. Yes. Okay. And how about here? Pearl. Okay. Slimy. Yep. That was mine. Mm-hmm. Juicy. Yes. Succulent. Yeah, now I'm starting to drool. Okay. Slurpy. Slurp. Okay. And our love. Do you have a word that comes to oysters for oysters? That's okay. That's okay. Nothing like adults putting people on spot. I know. Anybody else have an oyster word? Protected. Yes. Okay. So I was going to share kind of a risque quote, but I think I won't. But here's another quote by Oscar Wilde. He said, "The world was my oyster, but I used the wrong fork." There's a lot of quotes about oysters. I mean, they're all over the map. One is Jonathan Swift. He said he was a bold man that first ate an oyster. And yet, I mean, who would have thunk, right? Oysters have been eaten since prehistoric times. I mean, they have been around for millions of years. And as I'm thinking about what God might be saying as self-expressing as an oyster, I'm wondering, like, there is something succulent and juicy and very nutritious inside this most unexpected, not that appealing shell. And what does it take to experience that succulence and that delicious oyster? We have to be, it's got a really strong abductor muscle, so people can get hurt trying to open up an oyster shell. It's kind of dangerous, a little bit risky. You have to be very, persistent. You might have to use your imagination. You might have to be pretty desperate, but it's worth it, right? You pry it open and there it is. How about the taste of an oyster? So those people who like oysters, how would you describe the taste of an oyster? And feel free to chat on that too. Salty. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm kind of drooling again. Earthy. Yeah. It's interesting. The oysters kind of yield the flavor of whatever water they've been hanging out in. Yeah. So here's some of the other flavors that have been reported online. Buttery, creamy, hints of melon or cucumber, sweet, salty, sweet, that they sometimes seem to bring out the other flavors around them. So I thought I would expand your literary side, and here's a little excerpt from Ernest Hemingway. I can't sound like him. I should probably have Adam. As I ate the oysters with their strong taste of the sea and their faint metallic taste that the cold white wine washed away, leaving only the sea taste and the succulent texture. And as I drank their cold liquid from each shell and washed it down with the crisp taste of the wine, I lost the empty feeling and began to be happy and to make plans. So that was Ernest Hemingway's experience of the oyster. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to just take a quick look at the packaging of the oyster, the physical exterior, and maybe a few other interesting facts. I watched a little video of a chef talking about the oyster, and it was really quite fun to watch him. It was quite fun to watch him. I can't imitate his accent, but the first thing he says is, "I rather like how it fits in my hand." And he just thought the whole package, the way it just fit right in the palm of his hand, was so convenient, and he just liked the way it felt. And when I heard that, I thought, we kind of fit like that in our Creator's hand. We like to feel the truth of that. And another little fact, which you can see on the right, is that inside the oyster shell, no matter how it looks on the outside, it's porcelain white on the inside. It could be any color, but they're all the same. And every oyster looks different on the outside, but the same on the inside. And I kind of liken that to this Carole King song that came out way too long ago, talking about that we're all brothers under the skin. Now, oysters on their outside, on the shell, the shape of the shell, say that 5 times, will vary widely depending on what they're attached to. Coral reefs, oyster reefs in the natural world, not on the farms, they will actually grow up like this, just like us. As we mature in spirit, in coming back to remembering who we are, we rise, and the oysters rise. Here's a cool little Rumi poem. We all like Rumi, right? Okay. Everyone is so afraid of death, but the real Sufis just laugh. Nothing tyrannizes their hearts. What strikes the oyster shell does not damage the pearl. We'll take that one in, right? Yeah. And sometimes what strikes the oyster shell is what? Gray hair, wrinkles, crickety backs, right? But the pearl is just fine. Pearl's doing fine. If we take it a little deeper and we look at, I guess we've already said this, that as we look at the dappling and whatnot on the outside, if we're too taken with that, we'll never discover what's inside. Here's another little interesting fact. I don't know what it means. Oysters require hard bottom areas because if they're placed on something too mushy, too soft, guess what happens? There's nothing to fall off into. They get buried and they die. That is the end of the oyster. So they need something solid in which to live on, kind of like us. Here's another little oyster fact, could be very practical. So if you have a whole oyster and you're wondering if it's alive, you tap the shell. If it closes, it means that the oyster is still alive and breathing. So if it's just a little open, it'll go like this. How long do you think an oyster can live to? Almost. The oldest oyster that I found was 80 years. Yeah, I mean, that's not typical, but they could get really old. How about this? Do you think oysters are mostly male, female, or both? All of the above. Actually, all oysters start out as male, but most of them will change permanently to female after about a year. Their reproductive organs produce both sperm and eggs, so they can change their gender, and it is therefore possible for the remarkable oyster to fertilize its own eggs. You could win a game show question with that one. Okay, let's look at the next one. This is kind of like a game show, isn't it? Doing. All right. This was something that was slightly familiar to me. If you look at the little experiment here, or not experiment, whatever it's called, you'll see on the left that there are two tanks, and the tank on the left has 10 oysters, and the tank on the right has no oysters, and they both have the same water, which is, pretty, you wouldn't want to drink it, right? 59 minutes later, less than an hour, how does the left tank with the oysters look? They do a remarkable job. So could we say, well, first of all, they have transformed the water, right? So could we say that the oysters are agents of transformation? Oh, And would we ever aspire to say such a thing about ourselves? Ooh, maybe. The potential is there, right? So oysters, they, being natural water filters, they are kind of like fish in that they breathe through their gills. They have gills, but they also feed through their gills. And so they suck in water with their shells just a little bit apart, and then the little hair things, the cilia, take the nutrients out of the water, the algae and the things that don't seem that nutritional to us, but they are to the oyster, and they probably are to us. We just have to get over it's that perception thing, right? So how many gallons of water a day do you think an oyster could transform? Oh, you have a lot of faith. I hang out with you. She said 100. Okay, any other? Let me see. I wrote this down. I think the magic number, 60. 60 is in there. Per day, up to 50. Yeah, that's not super typical. They typically do less than that, but that's possible. Maybe 100. You get a super oyster. They could. Different places in the world are using oysters to clean up the water. Surprise. Let me ask you this. Oh, well, first of all, who might an oyster, or what might an oyster be afraid of? I'll have to ask. Pliers, yeah. Did you know a noisy noise annoys an oyster? No, I'm just kidding. I remember that from the second grade. Sea otters. Oh, yes. Yep. And yeah, I'll give you a hint. Crabs. Yeah. So, if the oyster senses that they are in the presence of crabs or other predators, what do you think they do? Yes, they close up. If that happens, they close up because they're afraid. Will they be transforming the water? No. Are we in any way similar to that? Yeah. We really need to be not in that fear state if we want to be transforming ourselves, our lives, and our worlds, right? Other things that oysters do. When oysters gather together into communities, kind of like we're a community, right? They can be used to protect and diffuse the energy of the destructive energy of storms. So there are oyster reefs kind of being created and sometimes even repurposed. Some oyster shells are being repurposed and used so oyster reefs can be built up to offer some protection. And they also prevent erosion. So, they kind of have a protecting and a preventing thing going on. So, was that interesting? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Here's some factors in an oyster's delicious well-being. And we can kind of, again, relate. Here's the picture on the right. We can see that is, I believe, Chesapeake Bay, where they have a lot of oysters growing up. So that's kind of what they look like when they're not being farmed. So we can kind of think of this in terms of if there's any energetic metaphor happening. Things that they need, protection, yeah. And it's good for us to, protect our time, protect our, if we're drained, we need to take care of ourselves, right? Solid support, same thing. Nutrients, they need to take in good things. If they don't have the nutrients, they will not survive. The water quality and the conditions of the water and being in the correct flow where the nutrients come to them, those are all important, both to the oyster and energetically for us. What do you think might happen if the oysters are too cold, or the water's too cold, or the water gets too warm? Yeah, they get stressed out and they won't feed. They won't take in the nutrients. They're just focused on surviving. And we can kind of do the same thing. Here's a relevant question. If there's a lot of sediment, a lot of dirt in the water, what do you think the oyster does in that situation? Yeah. If it's something definitely like a piece of sand, but if it's just kind of cloudy, we don't know what it is, it's just kind of not the green stuff, but the muddy stuff. We would think so, if to a certain point. But if there's too much of that lack of clarity, they will spend more time sorting than ingesting. They'll kind of they won't be eating. They'll just kind of say, oh, there's a lot of stuff here. I can't eat. I don't know what it is. And they're just analyze, and they get weaker and weaker. Does that sound familiar? I never do that. Overanalyzing. Even the oyster can overanalyze things. And when they're overanalyzing, they're not eating. When they're not eating, they're not transforming. Okay. So now we're going to get to the pearls. Yeah. Does anybody have pearls? Yeah. I have never worn these, but these are my mom's. Yeah. When I was 10 years old, my mom went to Japan and to visit her family, and I came back, and I still have it. She gave me this little pearl ring, and it was just my pride and joy for years and years. Yeah, pearls are so beautiful. So the truth in every myth is the pearl in every oyster. I was really trying to get into the suggested quote for today, which was, the world is your oyster. And for some reason, it's probably just me, I really could not get into that quote that much. I think the quote should be, the world is your pearl. Because if you think like the world is your oyster, like, everything we said, the oyster is really not that easy to deal with if you really want to get to the good stuff. But I think the world is your pearl. So that's just my opinion. So how many oysters would you find in nature how many pearls would you find in 10,000 oysters? 10,000 oysters in nature, how many of those will have a pearl? 5, 1,000, 30, 1 in 10,000. 1 pearl out of 10,000 oysters, more or less. And how long do you think it took for that 1 in 10,000 to create that pearl?
5 years.
Could be years, yeah. They had a lot of friction for a lot of years. And we know that the pearl could be made out of a piece of sand, but what else could what could have caused that pearl to be made? Piece of shell, yep. How about a parasite? Ooh. How about a fragment from a dead fish? Ooh. Who would want a pearl like that? How would you ever know? Whoa. Does it really matter? No, the pearl, whatever it is, it's been transformed, right? So the pearl's kind of like a new kind of a shell. It's perfect, doesn't have any sharp corners. There's nothing hidden in the pearl. It's all there. So what's happened is the oyster has been suffering a lot. It's almost like it's had an ulcer, right? Which hurts. Although apparently oysters have no central nervous system, so we hope that means that they're not in pain. But they're turning something that is irritating into something beautiful. How about this? A pearl is the only gem known to man that cannot be cut. You cannot divide a pearl. You can divide a diamond, cannot divide a pearl. Now, what if something is really big? It somehow gets into the oyster, and the oyster is like, this thing's going to kill me if I don't do something, and it literally will. But it's a big piece of a shell or a big piece of a dead fish or something. What will happen? What kind of pearl will it be? A what? A Baroque pearl. Oh, maybe. I don't even know what a Baroque pearl is, but is that like an especially? Oh, okay. Okay. See? We're all learning together. Yeah, it could be misshapen, but it will be bigger. It will be bigger. And there are some really big, very precious pearls in the world. And as we know, pearls are mostly white, but they could be blue. Blue pearls are rare. Gold pearls are very coveted. Black pearls, yeah. I don't know, is this a black pearl? Then this is a, I don't know, gray pearl. So could we say that a pearl is an oyster's autobiography? Because is every oyster different? Yeah, every oyster is definitely different. Is every pearl in the natural going to be different? Yeah, each one is going to be different and very beautiful. I guess when, here's another copy paste I found. When light strikes the surface of a pearl, only some of it is reflected and some of it is absorbed. Interesting. So if we've got some divine light shining on us in some amazing way, sure, we reflect some and some gets absorbed. It's not such a bad deal. The light rays are reflected at many different angles, and they are shining at different wavelengths, and they are scattered in different directions. So that's what causes the iridescence in the light that we see, in the shine. And we are also made to reflect light in this amazing way, each one of us. So I think I'd like to share a song with you. Is there anything in anybody's life that is the slightest bit irritating at this moment? Or maybe it's like that big piece of shell where you think that if something doesn't happen, you might die. Or you feel that way. So this is a song to all of us, including myself, of what to remember in that pearl making process that is not pleasant. The oyster's not having a great time, just continually coating this irritant with, it's called nacre, mother of pearl stuff. But it does, I believe, or I'm going to just say, it has an end result in mind, that at some point, all the rough edges are going to be smooth and beautiful. So this is kind of about that process, about what we want to remember. In the presence of love, all things are clear. In the presence of love, every fear disappears. The all in all alive in me calls me now to see. In the presence of love, all is clear. In the presence of love, all things are healed. In the presence of love, endless life is revealed. The all in all alive in me calls me to believe. In the presence of love, all is healed. Everywhere love is there, beckoning with joy to share. Near and far, I feel my heart opening for my soul to sing. In the presence of love, all is complete. In the presence of love, grace has filled every need. The all in all who shines through me calls me now to feel. In the presence of love, I am free. Everywhere love is there, beckoning with joy to share. Near and far, I feel my heart opening for my soul to sing. Yahweh, I love you. Yahweh. The all in all alive is me, is singing what is real. In the presence of love, all is clear. In the presence of love, all is healed. In the presence of love, I am free. Thank you. Thank you. Pearls are so beautiful. So worth the process. However, the process does include a wound, being wounded. Yeah. This is the hard part. This is the part that kind of can break our heart apart so our heart can be free and experience the wholeness that's there. The biggest wound creates the largest pearl. We talked about that. So the pearl, instead of just allowing what is disturbing and unsettling and wounding even, the pearl makes a choice to bring beauty out of its suffering. And here's something that is it's a wonderful lesson. So we see that the pearl's physical nature is soft. It's very vulnerable. It's very soft, very tender. And instead of, when it gets that grit inside on its softness, which it is like causing an ulcer or a sore. It doesn't alter the soft nature of its being. It doesn't become hard. It doesn't get callous and leathery just so it doesn't feel. It responds, and it continues to entrust itself to the ocean. It continues to open and breathe, doesn't stay clammed, closed, shut hard. And it just keeps doing what it can do, keeps covering it with that mother of pearl. And if it doesn't do this, it dies. So essentially, a pearl is a healed wound. And we always have that choice, no matter how hard the hit, no matter how hurt we feel. We can create something beautiful from healing that wound. And there is nothing outside the oyster that can make it produce that pearl. It does happen from within itself. And so it is the oyster who decides that it's going to coat this piece of grit. And then it does layer by layer. It doesn't just ring the bell and then there's a pearl. It's just layer by layer by layer. That's right. It takes a long time. And, while this pearl is being made, nobody can see it. It happens in the dark. It happens in the depths. It's submerged. And it's the same with each one of us. We've got our deep, deep struggles, and no one else may even really know or understand what we're struggling with. But it is known, it is understood, and it is becoming something beautiful. And I'd love for each of us to know that no matter how wounded we're feeling or how hard we're working with whatever it is that's trying to get the better of us, that we are seen and we are loved, and there's a great treasure in the making. I'm going to share this song called Sanctity. And as I'm singing, I'd love for you to just ponder, what is the pearl for you? Are you yourself the pearl? Or is there something going on in you that is becoming the pearl? Or maybe both. For me, this is a song that was written in woundedness. And actually, it's a really deep song. It's I had a hard time with what we would call non-duality, coming into a place where I believed that all is one and that I am part of the all. That was really hard for me because my theological conditioning was not that. And in fact, I almost thought that might be sacrilegious to even entertain that possibility. So I had to do my work, and it was not easy, and it did take months and months, actually, for me to come to this place, which is what this song is about. So sanctity is defined as the state or the quality of being holy or sacred or saintly. And I felt for sure the last person on earth who should be a saint is me. And yet I just kept hearing from deep within, and maybe God was the grit, that I really needed to not toss out that possibility. And so I would go every morning and just work it out, sometimes kind of duking it out, in my way, and not really happy with the situation. But the pearl did happen. So that's what this is about. Bare and beholding, where sky lifts up the ground, awake and unfolding, where silence holds all sound, I'm hearing I can be, indwelling all of me, in sanctity. River of stillness, rising to quench my thirst, immersed in spirit divine and of the earth, I'm feeling I can be, embracing all of me in sanctity. Holy, 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 heaven and earth alive in glory. Holy, 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 bright and clear, shining here, sanctity. Bare and beholding, breathing from my heart, my shoes torn and soiled. How did they walk so far to be knowing I am free and breathing divinity thankfully? Holy, 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 heaven and earth alive in glory. Holy, 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 bright and clear, shining here, sanctity. Bare and beholding, river of stillness, thankfully, sanctity, here as me, sanctity. Thank you for letting me share that with you. It's really, that's a hard one. So we thought that our work was over just becoming the pearl, right? But apparently it's not so. According to Rumi, a pearl in the shell does not touch the ocean. Be a pearl without a shell, a mindful flooding, a candle turned moth, bird settling nest, love lived. We know that the I am is the pearl. The I am that I am is the pearl. That we are all the pearl. I'm not sure where I got this from. And I'm going to change it a little bit, but it's talking about letting go of the fear of being separate and embracing that we're all one. We're all in the ocean. We can let go of that fear of being separate when we see that our shells are not separate from the sand or the ocean. And yet the shell that we are in, the body, the physical, it has its function as a boundary. And yet to be awakened into this oneness, it doesn't mean that we have no body. We have a body. We have a boundary. And yet to be awakened means that we need to know that this boundary is just what it is. It's not permanent. But our eternal oneness is present regardless of what's going on with the shell. I am the pearl. I am the ocean. And actually I should take a look at what's coming up here. We are indivisible wholeness. We cannot be separated. As the pearl, as the oyster, as the water, the ocean, even the microorganisms in the water. We are in all, and all is in us, each one. So this perception of unity, another way of God saying that God is all there is, another way of saying it is all God and all good. Okay. And I'm going to actually, let's just pause for a moment and open our hearts and our minds and to allow this river of stillness to flow through us, that we can take in what it is that's good for us, and that we can release to this river of stillness what is ready to be released with gratitude. And we are just saying together, each one of us, thank you. Thank you that this oneness is in us, and that we are in this oneness. And all the beauty, all the amazingness is here, in us, all around us, moving through us, here as us. Thank you. And so it is.
Thank you, Colleen. That was amazing. Inspiring and beautiful. Thank you so much. You are a gift to this community. Thank you. And so now it's time to practice the spiritual principle of abundance, of sharing, of unity. And so we have many ways to give in support of our community. Those of us that are here in the sanctuary are welcome to share their goodness with us this way. Also, if you are out there in Zoom land, you can certainly mail a check to the center, or you can visit our website and donate in that way, or you can set up an online automatic payment through your bank. All of those ways of sharing the goodness that is our community is gratefully received. And so if you would share our affirmation with us, I think it's there somewhere. In everything I give thanks, gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities.
I am so blessed. I I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And so I gratefully receive these gifts, these offerings, this tangible acknowledgement of the flow of abundance in and through our lives, knowing that we accept it into our center, we bless it, and it goes out into the world to touch, to heal, to lift and inspire everyone in our community, in all who are touched by our activities, in oneness and in wholeness. And so it is. Thank you. And we probably have some announcements. Next Sunday, we'll be in person again and on Zoom, weather permitting. We'll have a question and answer with Reverend Pam. I believe that she will just be coming back from our Vista, which is our spiritual community centers for spiritual living, our annual convention. So I'm sure she'll have lots to share with us. So be sure and join us next week. And the practitioner will be Michael Brandman. And please check out our website. All of these announcements are available on the website and also on the Constant Contact, the newsletter that you get in your email every week. And let's see. Invite your family and friends to watch the Sunday talks. If they're not able to be with us on Sunday directly, they can go to our YouTube channel. And I think there's a number of different ways to interact with our community in virtual land. And join us this afternoon for a special workshop presented for us by Colleen. And yes, thank you. So we'll have hospitality after the service, of course, and then the workshop will begin after that from 12 to 2. So we're looking forward to your presence. The Red Tent Monthly Women's Circle is today from 6:30 to 8:30. And I do know that it's a good idea to give a call and let them know that you're planning to come. And that information's on the website. And our annual meeting is coming up next month on Sunday, March 19th. And that will be after a potluck lunch. And that's the time when we we wrap up 2022. We talk about what's coming forward in 2023. And we also elect new members of the Board of Trustees. All kinds of ongoing things. All these things are available on the website. I'm greatly enjoying our Friday Course of Love with Sue Pipel leading that. That's a wonderful book study, and it is something that you can just drop in on. If you haven't been participating in the past, it's not like there's homework or anything you'd be behind on. You can drop in on that discussion, and it's rich and deep and lovely. So now we would like to welcome our children in spirit, knowing that we hold space for them. We see you, we love you, we love you. You are a gift from God. And now we have a closing song.
This is a closing song. Okay. Switching the mic, here we go. So,
Words have not only a vibration, they kind of have a rhythm also, and especially when you put them together. So I thought we could do another little experiment since we're just doing the experimental, having the experimental experience, and see how we do with this song. So, if we were to not sing the words but just say the words, it would kind of go like, and actually we should stand up. You should stand up. I can't. So if we were doing, it would go something like this. Let go of doubt, confusion, and fear. Lay hold of the mighty love right here. I know God is working all for my good. I go as light to bless this world. Okay, it was tricky, wasn't it? You want to try it again? Here we go. Let go, wait, of doubt, confusion, and fear. Lay hold of the mighty love right here. We know God is working all for our good. We go as light to bless this world. Okay, that was pretty good. Here we go. Let go of doubt, confusion, and fear. Lay hold of the mighty love right here. I know God is working all for my good. I go as light to bless this world. Let go of doubt, confusion, and fear. Lay hold of the mighty love right here. We know God is working all for our good. We go as light to bless this world. Let go of doubt, confusion, and fear. Lay hold of the mighty love right here. We know God is working all for my good. We go as light to bless this world. As peace to bless this world. Ooh, as love to bless this world. As joy to bless this world. 1, 2, 3, we go. You're so welcome. Thank you, guys. Hello, little Rosalina. Hi. Rosalina. Hi, Jimmy. Oh, hi, Melissa. Hi, Jude. Hi, Karen. Hi, Carol. Hi, Nancy. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I want to make sure you guys know that if you are able to join us at noon, that's a different link. And you will have to get the link on the newsletter or the mailing that just went out yesterday morning. So you click on that, and it will bring you to a link to register. And then registering will enable us to get you the handouts for the Ho'oponopono, which, yeah, I think it's going to be really amazing. So I hope you guys can make it. Thank you. Yes. Thanks, Melissa.